Welcome back. Today we are hanging out with a special soul, my friend Allie Daniel. And when it comes to the phrase soul aligned purpose, there are few who really embody or teach it better than Allie. She's recognized as the soul business coach for coaches, and she fuels new and aspiring coaches with no fluff, easy to execute strategies, helping them shift from zero clients to earning thousands in just a few short weeks, even if they don't have certifications. She's developed the failproof methods needed to transform her clients' sole purpose into high-ticket, high-value coaching programs. With a 75% program success rate, she's undoubtedly doing the work to ensure her clients will build profitable businesses that they love. She's coached 275 and more, growing every day, happy clients through her highly successful, top-ranked Path to Freedom Coach Accelerator, changed the lives of over 2,000 women through her 4-day soul aligned business challenge, and founded the popular Punch Drunk Soul podcast with listeners worldwide. Welcome to this show, and thanks for being connected in these pockets of the world today, Allie.
Yeah, yay, thank you. Appreciate the intro. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Hopefully we don't have any crazy background noises. Like I mentioned, I am sitting outside living that dream life. This is where I do most of my work, actually, just outside.
It is gorgeous. You look like you're exactly where you need to be. I love it.
Yeah.
So before we dive in, I have a burning question that I wanted to ask you for like years. And now that I have you here, I need to know the meaning, the story, the origin of Punch Drunk Soul.
So funny. That is a question I get asked so often. So I would be more than happy to share it. So let's see, when I was about 25, like in my mid 20s, I reached like that quarter life crisis that I know so many people go through. And I was feeling just really stuck, really unfulfilled, didn't really know like who I was or what my purpose was. And I just felt so disconnected with like my soul and what life was about. And through a couple of those years, I got really sick with like what we thought was an autoimmune illness, which we now know was actually mold illness, and coupled with a couple other things. But it felt like my life had just been turned upside down. And what I felt like was my soul had become punch drunk by life. It had just been hit so many times that like just was delirious. And I was really into boxing at the time. I still love it so much, but I was working with a coach then. Like I boxed like 2 hours a day, 5 days a week or more. I loved it so much. I was obsessed. And so this term just fit so well. Like it felt, my soul had become punch drunk. It fit with boxing. It was just like, yeah, that felt so good. So that's kind of how I came up with it. Yeah. And it's just stuck with me ever since.
I love it.
It feels me.
Yeah, no, I love that story. It makes total sense and not at all what I would have guessed about it. I was honestly like saying like punch, like Kool-Aid punch, like when you were drinking Kool-Aid or something. And I get this question about like dream life is real life all the time. Like, what's that about? Is this like a sleep thing? Like, where did this come from? And I always love those origin stories. That it's like, I was just living my life and it felt right. And I like landed on it. I say it a lot. So
yeah.
So with that, I would love to go back to that phase because I think it's a place that a lot of coaches can relate to of that, like, I've just been beat up by life. Like, this isn't what it was supposed to be. They did not like sell it like
this isn't what I signed up for.
Exactly. So share a little bit of your story and maybe starting at that point of like, okay, I've been kind of beat up by life. I'm dealing with dis-ease. Let's start there in that part of your story.
Yeah. And I love how you said the word disease. Like it really is dis-ease in our body. So yeah, let's start back there. When I was about, 25, 26, I was in a relationship that was about almost 5 years old at that point. I think I would guess maybe 4 years old. And then we spent another year together while I was sick. But I was in a relationship. I was living in Santa Monica, this beach city. I had friends. I had a great job. Like I felt like on the outside, everything was perfect. It was just like, who wouldn't love this life? And yet on the inside, I just felt so empty. I felt really stuck. I know this is just a word that people use, but it does describe it so well for so many of us, just stuck in life. And I felt like, I think empty really just embodies what I felt really well. Like I just kind of felt numb. I was living on autopilot. Every day felt the same. wake up, eat breakfast, go to work, come home, cook dinner, watch TV, like just felt like rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And I was just, I don't know, maybe like bored. And I literally remember asking myself, is this all that life is? Because this is it. Because this is not the great, like I thought there was something more. And that's what I kept coming back to, was this idea of like, there has to be more. I know there's more. I know I'm meant for more, but I didn't know what more was. I had no idea how to get there or what it even was. So I just kind of kept going at that pace. And it was like these little nudges from the universe, which I know now, like, and I trust in and believe in. But then I had no spiritual background. I didn't grow up religious. I didn't grow up with spirituality or anything. So I wasn't connected with anything besides just myself. And really, I wasn't even connected with myself. So I kept ignoring the signs and kept just like trudging forward with life, kept ignoring the signs of like, there has to be more, there's more to this, like, come on, explore life, like do something different. And I was like, no, 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 too scary, too scary. No, I'm just going to go down this path that everyone else goes down, because that seemed normal and easy to do. And eventually I got really, really sick. It started with like rashes all over my body, like all over my body, and they were god awful itchy, like so awful. Then it like, again, as I didn't do anything about it, I mean, I went to doctors, I went to acupuncture, Chinese herbalists, like, and some stuff helped, but nothing made it go away. And I wasn't doing anything spiritually or inner work wise. And it just got worse and got worse and got worse. And eventually it got to this point where I was not able to live life. Like, I was on the couch 20 hours a day and in the bath the other 4 hours of the day. The bath was the only place where I felt normal. My skin was burning. I had nerve pain. It was incredibly itchy. It was like flaking off. It was oozing. I was just like, I had zero energy. So I was fatigued. So I couldn't really I didn't even have the energy to get up and get water when I was thirsty. So I had to like ask my boyfriend, like, can you get me water? So it was just like, I was a shell of a human being. Like, I was not living my life anymore. And in the bath was the only place where I felt normal, because the water seemed to like, I don't know, calm my skin or something. So I spent a lot of time in there. I even slept in there sometimes because I wasn't comfortable at all anywhere else. And anyway, so I remember this point in the bath one day. Like, it was a beautiful day. It was summer, like maybe May or June, and it was like 80 degrees outside. I heard birds chirping. I heard people down at the beach, because we were just like 2 blocks from the beach. And it was this gorgeous day, and I was there in pain in the bathtub thinking like, what is my life? Like, is this it? Is this what is just going to be the rest of my life? Like, no fucking way. So I don't know if I can swear, but no way is this going to be my life. And it was at that moment where I was like, okay, this has to change. I have to do something about it. And that's when I started to research, like, just, I don't even remember what I Googled, like how to change your life, how to find your purpose, how to do something with your life. And I also was researching into, chronic illness and how to heal. And that's when I found my health coach on Instagram through a hashtag. It works, guys. Hashtags work. Use them. No, so I found her on Instagram. We connected. She had a 6-month program to help heal from autoimmune illness. And when I say heal, I know a lot of people can't necessarily heal 100% from their autoimmune, but it was more like inner healing work. So that changed my life. It introduced me to spirituality, to the universe, to source, to like mindset work, to feeling my feelings. I had never felt my feelings before, which is why I was feeling so numb. So that was what led me to coaching eventually. Like, I was like, this was life changing. And I was like, everyone needs to know about this. So that's when I was like, I want to be a coach. And she was like, you should be a health coach because you've got this whole health experience you've gone through. I was like, no, I don't want to deal with that. I want to work with women who want to find freedom in their lives. And I was thinking, okay, how do I do that? Everyone I talked to was like, I want to start my own business. So I had done some freelance PR, working for myself for a bit. So I was like, I can teach people how to do that. So I literally just like threw something together. My first program launched it, had 4 women in it, and that was the start of Path to Freedom. And it sounds like this is obviously the sped up version. It sounds a lot easier than it was. Trust me, there were
Yes.
months and
Well,
months, yeah,
so
where I
many
wasn't
people
like,
can relate. So many people can
yeah,
relate to so many of these pieces, whether or not we were oozing pus, sleeping in the bathtub or not, we've all had those moments of sick and tired of being sick and tired. Right. And I think
yeah,
that story, like so many people can relate. You were someone that like couldn't ignore what was happening, and like life kind of gave you that
yep, the
opportunity.
universe made me stop.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I credit my eating disorder in my 20s to being the same exact thing. When you have these moments
Right.
in life that make you wake up, or your
Yep.
therapist makes you wake up in some way, for me, that it's like, what are you
Yeah.
really going to do with this precious time that you have here? And for some people,
Mm-hmm.
the routine of what you were talking about, going to work, is their thing. And that's where they feel the most like helpful and productive in the world. I was
Yeah.
the same as you, and like sitting in my cubicle, like they did this for 30 years.
Yeah, like what?
30, I can't even
No way. I
imagine that
can't.
at the time,
No.
right?
Yeah.
And I think you're totally right that there's this lure or this attraction to be like, okay, you figured out this health thing, you should go teach other people that. I did the same thing, but
Mm-hmm.
then I quickly realized you're smarter than I was. I don't want to, like, I'm not like, that is hard. And
Yeah, it is hard. That's exactly why I didn't want to do it. Because
yeah,
I like when I went through it, I never even gave my coach credit because I was like, this isn't working. Like, I'm not feeling better. But it wasn't until months later that all of it integrated and I was like mind blown. Now I literally thank her like every couple of months. I'll reach out and be like, oh my God, I just had this new integration from what we worked on. Like, thank you for changing my life, like years and years later. But yeah, I do think it's a hard coaching path to go down. But
yeah.
kudos to you guys who do it because it
Right.
is like
We love those people. We both
incredible.
support
Yeah,
those people, right? And like
yeah,
you
yeah.
helping them figure out how to monetize and pull their
Yep.
experience and their skill sets into a program, because Lord knows everyone needs help right now, whether
Yeah.
it's health,
Yeah.
mindset,
God.
or money. So
Yeah.
you took the savvy approach to start to help some of these other women find that freedom, find their calling,
Yeah.
line back up with their soul, and make
Yep.
great money doing it. Because
Mm-hmm.
as much as we are like woo woo and we're here for the good of the world, like
Here to help, but we need
money
to get paid to do it.
runs the game. Yeah, paid along the
Yeah.
way. Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell me, did you already have an abundant money mindset, or like what were some of the shifts that you had to go through before starting to help other people do high ticket packaging their coaching
Right.
programs? Like what were some of the
Yep.
key things that helped you really become the leader that you are and start that off?
Yeah. Great question. Yeah, I definitely didn't start at high ticket. Like the first ever person I coached was $25 a session. And the next thing that I offered was $297 Path to Freedom course, or program, coaching program. And I inched my way up. I went from 297 to 500 to 1,000 to 1,500 and kind of so on and so forth. And so one, you don't have to like launch right away into like, $10,000 mastermind. Some people certainly do, and that's fine. That's awesome. You must have a really strong money mindset. I didn't. There was definitely like steps I had to take. And I think like inching your way up is a great way to like calm your nervous system every time you do it, because when we do say a new price, like we can feel in our bodies like, oh my God, this is scary. So inching your pricing up is a great way to like, ease your nervous system into it. But I would say like one of the biggest blocks that I had, two big blocks that I had in terms of making money and like being successful in business, was this belief that money was hard to make, that being successful, and the second one was like being successful meant hard work. And so those two things were like sabotaging my success in the beginning, because I think from society as a whole, we get this idea of money's hard to make. Money doesn't grow on trees, money's hard to make, money's stressful, money's evil. We have this like connotation around money that it's like not easy to create for yourself. And I saw it within my parents' life, like that it just felt stressful, them having to work so hard for it. And so that was there. And then the other like kind of related piece was, if you want to be successful and if you want to make a lot of money, you have to work really hard. And to me, working really hard also meant getting burnt out. Getting burnt out meant getting sick again, because I do feel like that also played a part in my original illness. And so I had this terrifying, like, I guess, like, lineage of thought that led to, money's hard to make. You're going to have to work really hard. Then you're going to get burnout. Then you're going to get sick again. So subconsciously, I was not going to work hard. I was not going to do any work. I didn't want to be successful because it would lead to, at least my thoughts were leading me to believe that that would lead to me getting sick again. So I really had to, like, I worked with a coach. She's a mindset coach, so Alyssa Nobriga. She's one of the coaches that I worked with in my first, like, 2 years. And she was somebody who really helped me, like, dismantle and yeah, like, really, I like to think of it as like a blanket of thoughts that just, like, creates the beliefs and the facts that we have. And she would just help me, like, unravel them bit by bit by bit. And that's I took what I learned from her, and that's what I do with my clients. And that's what has helped, I think, our clients have such high success rates in our program, is like, we really lead with that, because there are always subconscious beliefs blocking you from success. You don't even realize they're there until you start to drop in and check in with yourself, like, what is true, what is happening for me. So those were, like, the biggest things that I kind of was challenged with. And the tools that I used to get through it were, like, inquiry work. So from Byron Katie, she does the inquiry work process, which was really helpful to just question your thoughts and understand, is this really true? Who am I being, and how am I showing up when I believe that? And who would I be without that thought? And then the other was inner child work, or, like, fear love dialogue, I think Alyssa Nobriga calls it. But it's this dialogue and internal, like, process with yourself of, like, what am I afraid of? Knowing that that's just, like, a scared inner child part of you. She's gonna exist always. He or she or they are gonna exist always within you. So, like, don't judge it or try to invalidate those experiences, because it's part of you and it will always be there. But you can also come in with your highest self, or that love energy, and bring compassion to it, bring awareness and understanding and love to it. And I like to think of, like, fear and love as these opposing energies. And when you have fear and you bring love to it, it alchemizes it. It kind of just neutralizes it. So those two things were, like, the biggest things for me in moving through those blocks and having the success that I have.
And it's an ongoing process, right? Everything you're talking about, I call Byron.
I still do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I call it belief turnaround, but Byron Katie, the work is something
Yep.
that I'm committing to doing, because to fast forward in your story a little bit, if that's okay, we're going to talk.
Yeah, sure.
Moving from multiple 6 figures to 7 figures. And it's an energetic game, right? What you're really talking about is changing your, like, energetic set point of what you earn, what feels right to charge, what people come in and expect you. Like, it's all a friggin' energy game. And when you're starting out, you don't want to hear that. So I'm glad you gave tangible examples and ways that we can work with that. But, like, it really is an energetic game, in my opinion, and what I've kind of experienced. So,
I mean, it is.
Yeah. So let's go there. Let's fast forward a little bit. You're working with women, they're getting results, you're increasing your prices, more people are coming in, you're doing free challenges that, thousands of people are attending, and you start to scale your business. I'd love to hear a little bit about some of the, like, lifestyle things that you had to be mindful of or integrate, knowing what you talked about, that kind of fear of, like, if I burn out or if I work too much, like, there is a real consequence of you getting sick again. So what are some of the, like, lifestyle things that you've integrated to put your health first while still growing and, being a business owner?
Yeah, great question. I think it's, like, always been a balance. So I think that's how we learn, is, like, we go, and then we, like, analyze, oh, okay, what's working, what's not working, let me make some shifts. I don't think any of us get it perfect on the first try. So it's not like I got into, my multiple 6-figure year and was like, oh, this is exactly how it has to look, let me just do it this way. So it did take trial and error. And I think what's important is paying attention to your body as you're going. So your body's going to give you signs and clues of what you need. And so paying attention and tuning in, and also asking your body, like, what do I need right now? What would feel good for me right now? That way you can avoid burnout. You can avoid getting to the point of crisis. You can definitely prevent that. So for me, it was kind of this balancing act of, okay, I'm I'm noticing that I'm working maybe like 30 to 40 hours a week. Let me like see how that feels. And for me, that never felt very good. So I would say like the max I ever worked was 40 hours a week, but that wasn't very long because I didn't like it. So I moved back down to like about 30 hours a week pretty normally. I would say like the only time I worked more than that was maybe like a few months in my business. I've always felt like 30 was a really good spot for me to hang out in. But the last 2 years or so, I was continuing. My goal was to like earn more and work less. And my boyfriend always says, like, that's impossible. That's not what people do. But I prove him wrong, I think, every year. So we have to not listen to other people because they don't know us. They don't know what we're capable of. So like I said, it's this balancing act of like doing and then analyzing what's working and what's not working. And I think for me, a few of the things that have really helped was one, like looking at my schedule and seeing like, when do I enjoy working? When do I have the most energy? When do I like taking client calls? And then working my schedule around that energy and around my what I wanted. And for me, I also want to have time in my schedule to work out. I used to like working out first thing in the morning. Now I prefer it more in the middle of the afternoon. So like that's also important to know is what worked for you last year may not work for you this year, and you may need to rework your schedule. And I would recommend probably every 6 months looking at your schedule, if not more, and saying like, do I need to change anything around? What does need to shift? So making sure that I'm always making time for downtime and rest, whether that's going for walks or just literally having chunks of time in the day where I don't have anything. That's been really helpful for me as well. So I usually pack in my coaching calls on like Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then the rest of my week is a bit more spacious. So I know like those are my heavy dense days, but I always take Fridays off. So I know that when I'm done, I'm done. That feels like nice to have that space. So I think managing your schedule is like one of the biggest things that will really help.
Yeah.
And then therapy. Like I also go to therapy. I also get coached. I think continuing coaching education and continuing to grow and learn yourself
Yeah.
as a coach is like so one just like integral. I think it's like a bit of integrity to continue learning and growing and believing in coaching as a coach. And then therapy, I think, is just such a great, like, therapy for me prevents me from ever having burnout or crisis again. It's always like, it's like letting a little bit of steam out of the kettle every week or so. So I continue to be in therapy and coaching just as like my continued growth. And I think those two things are imperative to how I've been able to grow and up level, not even each year, but like every month.
Huge. Yeah, absolutely. And I had heard, schedule, manage your time block, when do you feel like doing these certain things? And as someone who is like a recovering perfectionist type A personality, I would beat myself up when it needed to change. So I love that permission slip of like, I used to like working out in the morning and now I don't. Change it.
It's gonna change. Let's just
Friday.
yeah, like let's just be clear here, it will change. So just like let yourself be flexible with it. It's okay to change.
Yeah, and I think what's important to, like you said, to be able to make exponential leaps in your business, even month to month, you need everything you're talking about, self-care, all of that with your schedule, but there also have to be some systems in place for you to be able to maintain that. And like you said, work less, but earn more. So what are some of the key systems that you are grateful you have implemented at this point in your business to help you stay on the trajectory that you're on?
Oh, another good question. This one, like, I know a few things, but I want to like think on it too and see if there's anything else that comes up. But I would say the first thing has been like consistent communication with my team. So making sure that we have a weekly team meeting, and then I do weekly check-ins with most of my team members. And that really, like, I feel like that streamlines everything. We get to touch base before things get to be a problem. So I think instilling those early on has been really helpful. We also just started using Slack maybe 6 months ago, and that honestly has been really life-changing for our business. It's just helped things become so much more efficient and smooth when you have more and more team members working on things. It has really helped. But let's see, other, like, maybe when I was
Well, I think one
First,
piece that you kind of like, even just having a team. So
yeah.
who is on your team and how have you delegated in order to keep yourself out of all of the day-to-day stuff?
Yeah. So my first hire was one of my good friends, Jess Tomlinson, who is just an amazing coach. And we were really lucky to bring her on. The first thing that I wanted, I guess actually my first hire was my VA. So I first hired a VA. I think that should be everyone's first hire. Any coach's first hire should probably be a VA. My VA helped me do like all the tech stuff. She helped me set up everything in the back end for my challenges. I was running the Facebook group, like helping come up with content for the Facebook group. So she was handling a lot of the behind the scenes, like technical stuff so that I could, coach and create content, which was really more of my zone of genius. And so that was my first hire. Then from there, as I was looking at scaling my business, my time was the thing that was most limited. So I did a little bit of a time audit and looked at like where was I spending the most amount of my time, and it was in my students Facebook group and on my student calls. So for Path to Freedom, I was in the Facebook group multiple hours a day, 2 to 3 hours a day, answering questions, providing feedback, like addressing the questions that they had, and then having the coaching calls with them. So that was like a good maybe like 10 hours of my week right there. So I was like, all right, like let's bring on a coach to manage that so that I can be on the coaching call still, but I'm not inside the Facebook group multiple hours in a day, so that I could save that time to be growing and working on other things. So that's when I brought in Jess, and that's what she started to do. And then we launched, no, I guess then we like rejigged the mastermind, and she became the coach for that. Well, like she does like all of our accountability check-ins and helps really like oversee it. So as I grew, I kind of put team members in place to start overseeing my programs, more like almost you could think of them as like project managers and coaches. They're like almost project managing the course as it's running, or the program as it's running, making sure everything's going out at the right time, clients have what they need, the calendars are going out, like posts are going out the right time, emails are going out the right time, so that I was in the weeds of that for a while. And then so I was like, I need to hire a project manager. But what was great, I just had my coaches kind of step into that role of like they're overseeing the mastermind and Path to Freedom. So now they're like the lead success coaches for that, and they also kind of program manage it. So
Hiring
that was kind of
leaders.
the progression. What's
Hiring
that?
leaders, so you don't have to
Yeah.
micromanage or teach them how to do everything. Like
Yeah.
I've been hiring as well this year, and it's all around their strengths and what you said, their zone of genius. So we literally do assessments. Like I know I need help. I put out a job post that kind of outlines some of the things I need help with. But then when I talk to people, I'm not looking to just like, you have to be able to post to Facebook. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
here are your strengths. Like own this part of the business, because
Right.
being an entrepreneur, I really value people who have that hunger or that thirst to like, not just like
Yeah.
be there to clock in and clock out, but giving them.
Oh yeah. We don't want those people. You're not right for us. Yeah, no, I feel the same. Like what's been cool for me is I've tended to hire pretty much only people that I know, which I think I've been really fortunate to know some really amazing leaders and women who are just super dedicated to their own growth and also just being of service to others. So like you said, like I guess at first I hired them more to be coaches, but then they really did step into more of that leadership role of I'm going to own this portion of the business. I'm going to own this portion of the business. And then here I am at the top, kind of still overseeing them, but like I fully trust them. They are like incredible women. I have a team of all women, which I love. That's like just part of what we have our fun like weekly meetings. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think you're totally right. Like hiring leaders who are willing to own parts of your business and also report back on them. So like they each have their like KPIs and the results that they are driven towards, and they also get like bonuses, towards those as well. So I think that's a great way to like hire is based on that leadership quality.
And it lets everyone, like you go further when you're in your zone of genius. So would you say that team is what helped you go from multiple 6 to 7 figures? Or if you could pick one thing, like what do you think was really the catalyst to allow that growth?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would not be where I am today without my team. Like I can take weeks off and they run my business. I mean, I was sick. I will say this too. I was sick almost all of last year. Again, like I got really sick, mold illness. Uh, and my team like picked up I mean, they knew what to do. They were doing it. Business still grew a lot last year because of them.
Yeah.
So it was pretty incredible to see like that, how much I could rely on them and how much they really do carry the business forward even when I'm out. Like I'm going to France for 2 weeks and like I have no care in the world about saying, hey guys, I'm leaving. Like I don't even have to like
Got
tell them
this.
what to do. they've already got it. I really have leaders on my team who will step in and like know what needs to get done and do it. So I mean, I'm so lucky. I have a great team.
Yeah. Well, what's on the horizon besides France? What's happening next, or what are some of the 2022 goals for you and the team?
Yeah. So we are looking to create, we're really wanting to have this the challenge that I used to run. We are now running it as it's a paid challenge. It's $47, so nothing crazy. Like if you want to start a business, I think that's a pretty nice starting point. But it's really meant for coaches to help you find, what type of coach you're meant to be, and give you the tools to kind of start creating your niche and enrolling clients. So we really want to build that up and just create a really strong community of women, like female coaches. So they get to be part of our student alumni group, with all of our other clients as well, and have access to like our, we have like bi-monthly support calls. So we really want to build that up. That's something that really excites me and I'm really like motivated towards right now. And honestly, like, oh, man, our Path to Freedom program, like I feel like it's never been better. I feel more aligned with it now than I ever have in the past. I feel more aligned with our mastermind than I ever have before. So like it just feels like really, really good. And I feel like you kind of just get into flows with your business, and then sometimes like you're like, oh, nothing's working. But then if you keep going, like it works again. And it just, as long as you're willing to tweak and grow with it, I think it continues to grow with you. So I'm really excited just to see the new energy that we're bringing to Path to Freedom and the mastermind, because I feel like the women that we're getting in these programs are just like so incredible. Like we have some that have just become bridesmaids in each other's weddings. Like they're just this, like somebody called it this the other day. It's like a sorority of soul sisters, like not the college sorority, but like I mean, not that there's anything
Well,
wrong
you
with
guys
that.
are punch drunk. I mean,
There you go. It works perfectly. Yeah. So we've got like a retreat coming up for our mastermind ladies, and it's just like, yeah, it's feeling really good. So I just really want to keep building on those. Sorry, that's my like mold illness. I have to like take my detox supplements. Almost done with it, but that was my alarm for it. So yeah, I really just want to keep building these because I feel like they're better than ever, and our goal is to
well, it's
just
a flow.
get,
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
get as many women as possible starting their businesses this year, especially as like, I don't know, COVID is hopefully dying down. Now people are like being called back into offices, being called back into work. And if that doesn't call to you, if that's not aligned with you, like, there's so many other options. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, just continuing to move forward with what is working because we love it so much. And yeah, growing that.
But continue doing what is working. That is such a huge thing,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
every
Oh my
entrepreneur,
gosh.
remember that one. But
Yeah.
also, yeah, leaning into what feels right. And kind of what I'm sensing from you, Allie, is it's not like figure something out, make something new. It's like we're here,
Oh
we're in
my
it,
gosh.
we're
Never.
showing up. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
could listeners get a taste to see what's happening inside of the community and even work with you to hone their coaching niche and start to enroll clients?
Yeah. So as I've mentioned, we do have that $47 challenge. If you are wanting to coach and you're like, what would I coach on? Like, what are my skills? What are my passions? What's my purpose? Like that challenge is life changing. I will say, like, we've had thousands of women go through it. So that is, one really easy option. You can always join our Facebook group. My team and I go live in there every single week. I bring on all of my coaches to jam on topics about, how we're helping our clients through things, like what we're seeing with coaches as they're growing. So that is punchdrunksoul.com/squad if you want to like get in on that and that coaching community. And then we are going to pick up the podcast soon. We had to go on pause a lot of last year because I was sick. But then, of course, if you are really like, I know I want to be a coach, I'm ready to go full forward into my business and start earning money and making an impact, Path to Freedom is, the best place to go for that. And if anyone listening already is a coach and they're already working with one or a couple high ticket clients, our mastermind might be a better fit for that. And we don't really advertise for it. We really only pull people from Path to Freedom into that. But occasionally, if there is the right fit, we will bring somebody into that from outside of Path to Freedom. So you can always ask about it and we can chat about it and see if it's a good fit.
Get in touch, right? Allie's a real person. Chatty can be. We will make sure that there are plenty of links.
Talk to me.
Get connected with you because
on Instagram. Oh, I'm also on TikTok now. I have to say, I am loving TikTok. I'm having a really great time on there. So come follow me there. I'm doing like this series right now, like 30 powerful coaching questions to change your life in 30 days. So that's been fun for me. So yeah, come along on TikTok. I think I'm allie.daniel.coaching on TikTok. And then I'm always posting on Instagram as well at punchdrunksoul.
Amazing.
I'm everywhere.
I love your energy. Thank you for sharing it with us today here on the show. And we'll make sure there are links so you can get in touch with Allie. But I'll be back next week with another inspiring guest that will help you make your dream life and business your real life.